Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge and welcome to another recommendations video. Now this one isn't specifically dark romance, but it is bad boys, so that means some of them are going to be dark. So I'll try to say if like, hey, check out trigger warnings for this book, but I might not list every single one because some of them are dark romance, but just letting you know that ahead of time if I say dark romance, definitely look up the triggers because some of these, they might not look like they're dark on the front, but you still might want to check it out, okay? Okay, there we go. I'm in a hot mess. Are my earrings cute? They're just from Maurice's, but I love the little butterflies at the bottom of the hoops. And I colored my hair yesterday, and it always just feels so bright. Anyway, sorry, I'm being random. Let's go ahead and dive in. So this is going to be bad boy romances. This was someone was asking for recommendations for bad boys. So I have some historical bad boys and some contemporary bad boys. So we're going to start with the historical bad boys here. Let me make sure I have all of them. Okay, now I'm going to tell you, I'm sorry. I wasn't even like paying attention, but we do have a couple Lisa Kleypas because she writes bad boys real good. So the first one I want to mention is Harry Rutledge from the Hathaway series. This is book 3. This is about Poppy Hathaway, and the situation that makes Harry a bad boy is that he runs into Poppy in his hotel. This series has a lot of like heads of industry or like heads of their field of business falling for these Hathaways. Like we have Winterbourne who runs department stores. We have Harry who runs hotels, and then we have Tom who you'll see what he runs because spoiler alert, Tom's on my list too. But yeah. Oh, wait. I'm talking about this. Anyway, she does that. Whatever. It's Saturday morning and my brain's fuzzy. But Harry sees Poppy. Poppy is actually in love with someone else, and she wants to marry that someone else. But he's kind of a pansy, and he doesn't fight for her. And so Harry insinuates himself into the situation and makes it impossible for her to be with that guy and swoops her up for himself. On their wedding day, so very early in this story, she finds out what he did. And so she says, okay, you may have won me. You may have got me, but I'm never gonna love you. This is not gonna be an easy road for you for what you've done to me. And Harry's like, fine, I don't need your heart. I have you. That's what I wanted. I just wanted you. But of course he wants more than that. And of course she's gonna end up wanting more than that too. So there we go. This is Harry Rutledge is definitely a historical bad boy. And then the other one that I wanted to mention was Tom Severin from Chasing Cassandra. I don't have the one with the step back, but like there's Tom. He's on the side. That's the only downside to hardbacks these days is I wish that they had the step back on the back like the old ones did. But Tom Severin is a railroad magnate, and he's kind of like, he's an anti-hero in this series. Like he's definitely has tried to trick our previous heroes out of things before. He's a ruthless businessman, and he kind of has a similar situation to Poppy and Harry, funny enough, except he reacts a little differently. He overhears her having a conversation with her cousin West, that she doesn't think that anyone will love her the way that her sisters have found their loved ones. And so Tom offers for her because he thinks she's beautiful and sweet and he wants her. And she's like, but you don't love me. And he's like, yeah, but love is a useless emotion. Come on, man. Come on, right? So they end up kind of becoming friends, and they keep running into each other in different situations throughout the next like year and a half. And the chemistry keeps building between the two of them, but they're like, we want different things, so it's not going to work. But we come to this place of the story where it's like, but all of these situations building up to each other, they do equal love. Maybe Tom just doesn't realize it. So yeah, this is great. Then another historical bad boy that I'm always happy to mention is the Marquis of Dane from Lord of Scoundrels. So I absolutely love this book. People give it mixed reviews. That's okay. We have our main character, Jessica. She's a spinster. She heads to Paris. I think it's Paris, to bring her brother, her younger brother home, who's gotten in with a bad crowd, and she doesn't want him to squander away his inheritance. So she goes up against Dane, who doesn't really care about her brother, but when she comes to town, he is inexplicably drawn to her. and he's a bad boy. He has these parties where there's debauchery and drinking and all these things, and she wants her brother out of there. So she tries to appeal to Dane to get him to do this for her, and he's like, no, because he's very frightened by the feelings that she pulls up in him. Like, I don't know another way to say it, and he fights against that kind of like a child. Like, I won't lie, he throws fits, and I can understand why that would make some people annoyed with him, but he definitely is a bad boy, and you can't argue with that. And Jessica is more than a match for him, and one of the things I really, really love is I love the communication in this story. And then I want to mention Devil from the Devil's Bride. This, I have recently gotten into Stephanie Lauren, and she has a lot of bad boys that become reformed. So there's the brother Sinster, who are actually cousins. It might be called the cousin Sinster. I don't know. But it's a bunch of cousins who they all go by these like weird names for each other. And he ends up in a compromising position with Honoria. And this starts in a mystery. Like, I think it's a young cousin of his. I think it is. Gets hurt. Yeah, it's a young cousin. And they both end up in a cabin with the dead body of this boy. They didn't do anything. There's no one even suspecting that, like, they're the reason. But they do spend the night together in this cabin. And the next day, Devil is like, you're going to marry me. And he calls her his fiance. And she's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm a finishing governess. I'm saving my money so that I can travel. I am not going to marry you. And he's like, you have to. And he also really wants to marry her. So, but he's super alpha, and he very much has a past, but he sees her, he wants her. He has reason to think that, like, okay, well, the situation we found ourselves in, it needs to happen. And I kind of just love how they go for it. Like, I really, really love it. But yeah, he definitely has a bad boy past to him for sure. All right. Then we're going to get into a couple of the dark romances. This one, I would say that the only trigger warning really is illness of a parent. But the point of the story is that kind of ends. This is called Midnight with the Devil. And yes, it's supposed to be the actual devil, Lucifer Morningstar. And he goes by Lucian Star. And he needs to secure the gates of hell, and the way that happens is he finds pure souls and he corrupts them. And when he corrupts pure soul, it helps strengthen the gates of hell and keep evil behind it. And so this is set in modern day. If you love the show Lucifer, he's not exactly like him, but there are definitely vibes of it, of him, like, you know, owning fancy things and driving nice cars and stuff like that. And so he makes a deal with this girl, Diana, who her father is dying. So that's the thing, is her father's really ill for just a little bit, because she makes a deal with the devil that she will spend her Friday nights with him for 3 months having sex with him. So it is dark in that it's a coercive kind of sex situation, but you'll see within the situations, he's not forcing her into anything, but it is like a contract situation. So there's that, but for like darkness level, it's, you know, but definitely a bad boy here with Lucifer himself. Then we're going to talk about a couple Sam Mariano. So for these ones, pull out your full trigger warning repertoire, because bam, we can't talk about bad boys without talking about Carter Mahoney. I don't know what else to say about him. If you want to think of a hero that is more coercively evil, I don't know if you could think of someone besides Carter, because for being a high school senior football star who can coerce a girl into, he assaults her in a classroom with 2 other guys watching, and then goes about trying to woo her because he decides that he wants her. He's a real gem, this one. But Carter Mahoney is just a redux of the bad boy himself, Matteo Morelli. This is actually book 5 in the series, because this is like, just look at it. Just look at it. I can't tell you too much about this, but I will say that Mateo is the capo of the Morelli mob family that's in Chicago. I think they're in Chicago. And I freaking love this series. I think I picked this one because it has a name on it. But this is a 8-book series. The first one starts out with Mia and Vince, and Mateo is the villain of that one. And I can't tell you everything about him. I will be doing a Sam Mariano deep dive very soon. I'm very close to having it come out. And in that one, I will go into a little bit more like spoilers of what happens in this series. But Mateo does these things where he tests people to prove their loyalty. And the way that he tests Mia, which happens in the first one, was called Accidental Witness, was bananas. Because the first way through the book, like, you don't realize what's happening. And he's an evil genius. Like, he's an evil genius. But once you've passed his test, he will trust you completely. He'll trust you more than anyone else. And that's pretty fascinating to me. So, Sam Mariano, she writes some naughty boys. I will tell you that. I will tell you that. Then we got to talk about Pam Godwin. I am specifically talking about Vanquish. I don't have the individual books for this. Here's a picture of the other Vanquish. This is about Van. Van was a former sex trafficker. He's still not a great guy, okay? Still not a great guy. In his story, Vanquish, he is actually spying on his previous... It's hard to explain her. But he is spying on a woman that he used to love / thinks that he still does love. And he's using this abandoned house to do it. Well, it turns out that abandoned house actually has someone in it. That woman's name is Amber, and she's an agoraphobic, and she was a former beauty queen, and she hasn't left her home in a very long time. And Van decides, wow, how about I just make this girl my pet? And I will just do whatever I want to her. That's Van for you. This story was powerful and beautiful and twisted as fuck because that's Van. But I really love where they end up. Like, I really do. But I love the Deliver series. So this one's full of bad boys. Like, there's even worse bad boys later on. But I kept it early to the series so it's not as spoilery for later things. Alright, then we have Jonathan from Reign of a King by Reena Kent. This is a recent read. This is a duology. It is a dead wife's sister book or a dead sister's husband book. It's a big age gap. There is an interesting mystery happening in this one. This series actually like bleeds out from a high school bully series, which I haven't read yet. And I kind of wish that I did because I feel like there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know what was going on. But I still really love this duology. Jonathan is a dom. He is a alpha as hell, and he will do whatever he has to do. So when he runs into his dead wife's sister after many years, she, number one, looks so much like his dead wife. He ends up buying her company, buying a controlling stock in her company out from under her feet, and then telling her if she wants it back, she has to belong to him for 6 months. So I think that makes him a bad boy. That's all I'll say about that one. Then there is A Lesson in Blackmail by Keri Robichaux, and Nathaniel is the hero in this one. This book, he is a bad boy, but he definitely is a sweetie underneath it all, like really. I read this book because my friend Heather from Booktube, she had this really like as one of her favorite books, and it is a BDSM, but it is a student teacher, but there's only like a 4-year age gap. She's actually a librarian. She's not directly his teacher, and he is like the way it's so difficult to explain, but the way the power exchange of this series, of this book works, it really like doesn't feel as taboo as it sounds. But he's still definitely a bad boy because he has been kind of like bullying her. His family is a part of the board of this school, so he can kind of get away with whatever he wants to. And he does that by bullying her, and then he actually stalks her to her other job or her other place, which is a sex club. And so he kind of uses that as blackmail for her to explain to him what she's doing. However, everything is consensual in this book. but it does have the taboo nature because of what I've described, and he definitely starts as a pretty bad boy. But this book is really good. Like, it was really good. Master of Salt and Bone by Keri Lake. This is a very interesting book. This is like a Phantom of the Opera retelling. It is Beauty and the Beast-esque. It is Persephone and Hades-esque. Like, it has a lot of those kind of tropes. Oh, and Jane Eyre, too. Jane Eyre for sure, too. That's the main one, actually. I forgot. This is about a girl who, I think she's like 20, and she gets hired to be the companion to this mad woman. Like, we'll just say it. Who is the mother of this really powerful guy. He is a scarred hero. He is a recluse. He plays the piano. He is a prodigy in a lot of aspects. And they are immediately drawn to each other. And they are drawn into a sexual relationship as well. He has ties to a secret cult. And there is some crazy heavy mystery elements going on around this. This one has all the trigger warnings. So we'll just throw that out there. Just everything you can think of. This book has it. So definitely look them up. But I really liked it. And then the last one I want to mention is called Anarchy Found by J.A. Huss. So this is book 2 in a series. I mean, well, no, wait, this one's the first one. Anarchy Found is the first one. This is a supervillain series. So all of these books are on KU. The first book is on Audible Plus. And it's about these young men who their parents owed certain people money. Like, their parents were in trouble. And so they would trade their kids in to get out of that debt. And it was to this program to make super soldiers. But every super soldier who's an alpha has a beta, who's the one person who's able to kill them. So if they ever went out of control, they would be able to kill this person. So no matter how super that person's made, there's a beta who's able to take them down. So all of this happened when they were children. And our heroine, who is now a police officer, she has forgotten all about it. Like, it's blocked out. And our hero, when he sees her again, he knows who this is. But he knows she doesn't know who he is. But he still can't stop being drawn to her. Because when they were children, even though he knew that she was born to kill him, he loved her. So even though he knows that this person who's found him again is the only one who can kill him, he loves her. And it was pretty fascinating. I've read the first 2 books in this series, and I'm saving the 3rd one because I really do like these a lot. They're so unique. That's the biggest thing. The stories definitely have some holes in them, but it's so great. Like, I love superheroes, and to read like romance novels that are super sexy, a little bit kinky, as well as have this level of like action. Like, there's serious action, and there is technology and like cyborg-esque stuff, Iron Man stuff going on. It's pretty cool. So, all right, there you go. Those are some bad boy romance recommendations from me. I hope you will give those a try. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. Make sure you subscribe for more recommendations. I have an entire playlist of dark romance recommendations. I have an entire playlist of historical romance recommendations, so definitely check those out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.